What's up? It's your boy Mean Joe Green, aka Prince of the Ghetto. Yeah, I just wanna send my condolences out to Hulk Hogan. I just found out he passed today at the age of 71, and he was a big part of a lot of people's childhoods. And I remember my grandfather. He used to love watching wrestling, and that's when I first started watching when Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Randy Savage. I was little, used to love watching them wrestle. And my granddaddy put me on it. Rest in peace to my granddaddy, but he used to love wrestling. And that's who put me on wrestling, and I began, to like wrestling. But Hulk Hogan was one of those main figures, that I looked up to as a little boy. Hulk Hogan, he's the one that, made me start taking my vitamins, put me on the health region, you know what I'm saying? He'd always say, kids, make sure you take your vitamins, stay in school, listen to your parents. And a lot of kids was doing it if you was a wrestling fan. And yeah, Hulk Hogan, man, he used to always, I got them 22-inch biceps. 22 inches. I used to be like, God, dog. Come out there tan his shirt up. Hulk Hogan was a big man now. He was the man in the late 80s and early 90s. Hulk Hogan was cool, but my favorite wrestler was the Ultimate Warrior and Sting. I like when Sting came, and I liked the total package, Lex Luger. If you was a WCW fan back in the gap. But yeah, Hogan was a big part of, my childhood. Me and my cousins, it really brought family together because we used to go to my granddaddy and grandmother's house, and all my cousins then would be there. We'll watch wrestling. And then when wrestling go off, we used to go outside in the backyard and have like 3 matches stacked up, and we used to be back there wrestling on. I remember I was always Lex Luger. I had a cousin who I hated. He called himself Psycho Seed. And he used to do us wrong in the backyard. I'm talking about punching us in the chest and putting us in the finger fold, leg like have us hollering. And we used to always do that every time wrestling went out. It used to come on, what it was, Saturday mornings? Then it was like Saturday night main event, something like that. And we'll go in the backyard and wrestle for hours. We always picked our favorite wrestler, and that's who we were. We used to go back there and throw down, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to say my condolences now, to Hogan and his family, and I know what Hogan had did, you know, about that racist stuff, but I'm gonna push that to the side because truth be told, there's a lot of people racist. Black people are racist. I'm not saying that that's an excuse for Hogan because I was mad when he did that. But it is what it is, man. Some people, I ain't on that. I'm just thinking about my childhood. Hogan had me eating my vitamins. you know, he remind me of my grandfather. And my grandfather passed, and I know my grandfather used to like him. And it was some times I had back in the day, man. During those times, you know what I'm saying? Cause they had Hogan was the face of WWF. I'm talking about he was on cereal commercials. I'm talking about Hogan was the man. And then I remember when he came out with that movie with dang, what's his name? His name was Debo from Friday. I can't think of his name right now. But he had a movie with him, a wrestling movie, and we need to see that. We wanted to see that so bad. It took us a minute, but we finally got a chance to see it. And I was like, okay. Now Hogan versus, well, I call him Debo now. Back then that was an okay movie. But yeah, man, my condolences to Hogan. You know, shit. I hear a lot of people with all this conspiracy theory and all this, but the fact remains the world keeps turning, man. People getting old, people passing, man. It's just life, you know. Same thing like my old boy Theo off the Cosby. Well, Malcolm, you know, he passed, you know. Well, his past was different cause you know he drowned. But it just showed that you know how life is. Life is short. You can go anytime, you know. Then I heard the Osborne man or that heavy metal band, he passed. So you know that he was old. You know, people get old. That's what gonna happen. People gonna die, man. Especially in these times because you got the fools and you know I don't want to get all into that, but lifespan is getting shorter by the generation, you know. And that's what it is, man. We just got to, like Hogan said, take your vitamins, drink your water, be respectable, man. We got to keep our health up, man. Cause it'll be a blessing for me just to make it to see 71. How times is now, you know. So you know, I just want to give my shots out, give Hulk Hogan his flowers, man. Condolences to his family. You know, he was a big part of our childhood, you know. And it's all good, you know, it's life. Life goes on, you know what I'm saying? So hey, Hulk Hogan, we salute you. R.I.P. And what you gonna do when the Hulkamaniacs run wild on you? Hey, it's your boy, Mean Joe Green, man. It's all love. Y'all, I'm about.